How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh, I just am not with it today. I'm not feeling super good this evening, but I wanted to come on. I don't want to get any more behind. One of these updates is almost a week old. It is a week old, and the rest are more recent. But I wanted to talk to you about the case against Stephan Stearns and just some new things happening in the case. I have 3 articles I thought we could go through and just kind of hang out and chat for a bit. What are you guys up to this evening and this weekend? I have a lot of things I have to do this weekend. One being I messed up my phone just like a few minutes ago, and I had to go to Best Buy on Sunday to fix it. And a bunch of other things, just life. Happy to have a few moments to pause and sit back and talk to you guys and talk about some of these things. Also, did you guys see, I've shared on the community tab a couple different videos, but couple things actually. Luigi Mangione had court today and people showed up. I mean, they were packed in that courthouse hallway. It was crazy, and outside the courthouse. Also, regarding the video we did yesterday and the live that I had last night on Patreon, which it still hasn't, I need to remove it just so, because the people who support Wade aren't always very fair with what they report and how they report it. We know that. But it stirred up a little bit of new stuff. I've found myself getting tagged on TikTok by some of the wives and told how ignorant I am, basically, for laughing at his photos and how they're old and he's the most beautiful human on earth and things like that. So on Sunday, when we do our weekly recap on Patreon, I'll show you guys those the video, and I'll take a screenshot. I actually shared it. I think I shared one of the posts on my Patreon on the free tier as well, so everybody could see it. Let me just double check that before. Yeah, I did. I shared the link to one of the videos on there. And if you look in the comments, the creator, hey, they tagged you too, Tess. I noticed that. Did you notice? But anyways, hey, Jen. Hey, Tess. Adrian. Lorena. Hey, Neat. Hey, Roro. Hey, Angie. B. Crumbs. Ignorant Amy. You guys should see some of the comments that I get when I have covered him and Luigi as well. Let me see, actually. I just got one I saved. I was going to do it in a rude comments video, but maybe I can just pull it up and tell y'all. So they said, oh, please, you really don't understand why people feel strongly about this case? Get a conscience. No need to be sexist. He has plenty of men supporting him too. Talk to regular people to understand what's really going on my last Luigi video. And to that I say, first of all, open your ears. I said multiple times, I can understand why people are upset with big pharma, private insurance companies, the healthcare system in the U.S., and etc. Okay, I definitely understand that. Also, talk to regular people to understand what's really going on. Well, I feel like I get to do that almost every day when I talk to you guys. Hell, I'm a regular person. What do you mean regular people? But anyways, now that we've talked about all the little extra things, let's get into Stephan Stearns. Hey, crazy mama. Yes, they are. Hey, Natasha. I'd consider that a compliment, Allie. I know, regular. Who? Well, what am I? Guess I'm irregular. Hey, Julie with no E. Hello, regular people here. Hello to all my regular people in the chat. From regular person up here on panel. Hey, Kimmy. It's crazy that people are normalizing unaliving someone just because, one, if they find them attractive, like in Wade's case, there can't be anything else besides that. With Luigi, I guess it's a little more complicated because some people, they may have problems with the healthcare system because they've lost a loved one who needed a treatment they couldn't afford. Maybe they're injured or sick themselves, or maybe they just do find him attractive. But Amy is regular. Ask her. So regular. Okay. Uh-oh. What am I doing here? All right. So let's get started. We're going to start with the, I think I'll go with this first, even though I think it was dated after the next one we're going to look at. So it's not actually in order. Wait, no, this is the very last one I want to look at. Here we go. February 12th, and then the 19th. Okay. So let's start here with this article from Court TV. I'll read from the top on this one because, all of them are going to describe the case in general, and just for people who haven't followed it closely or don't know too much about it. So, oh, look, here we are. Luigi Mangione appears in court wearing vest. So, Kissimmee, Florida. Stephan Stearns, accused of sexually abusing and murdering his girlfriend's young daughter, was absent from court as his attorney asked for his upcoming trial to be delayed. Wait a minute. He didn't show up? He only his attorney? You have to be kidding me. Not Stephan Stearns, not wanting to face the public because he's ashamed and embarrassed of what he's done, and he knows he looks like such a piece of trash. He's not done that from the very beginning, has he? No, he has done that from the very beginning. So he was arrested last February. Oh my gosh, tomorrow would have been Maddie's birthday, her 14th birthday. Wow, I didn't realize we were coming up on a year. We're just 5 days away from a year since she disappeared. So he was arrested last February after his girlfriend's daughter, 13-year-old Madeline Soto, disappeared. During the investigation into her disappearance, police found more than 1,500 disturbing images and videos going back years, which allegedly included media showing Madeline being sexually abused. Now, 1,500 photos of her, but they also found an additional, 3,000 photos? Been a minute, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but of other people not people he was physically with, of other children, let's be clear. So Stearns was charged with 60 counts related to sexual abuse of a minor and child pornography. Days later, when her body was found, Madeline's body, he was also charged with her murder. After his arrest, he immediately waived his appearance at all pretrial hearings and has not been seen in court for any hearing in either of his cases. You pansy. You don't want to stand and face people. I'm sorry. That's truly what I believe it is. We see that often with these people. Adam Montgomery. I've felt like I saw that with Chris Watts. They don't want to face the public after what they've done. We do. Do we have to have a trial? I thought you were asking if they have a date. Hey, Boho Hobo. Wednesday was scheduled to be his final pre-trial hearing ahead of his trial for the sex charges, which had been, what a awful way to say that. Come on, Court TV. For the CSAM charges, which had been scheduled to begin February 24th. The judge noted how long the case has stretched on and agreed to postpone the trial until spring because the defense has not had access to key evidence. Now, this surprised me, so listen to this. The assistant state attorney, Danielle Pinnell, told the judge that the defense has not yet been able to view the images and video at the center of the CSAM case, evidence that can only be viewed at the prosecutor's office because of the sensitive nature of what it contains. That appointment is currently scheduled for next month. We talked about this and we worried about it. If this monster has access to the evidence in this case, does he get to just continue to look at it and get off on it? No, hell no. And he hasn't got to see any of it yet, which is crazy. But you have to go to the prosecutor's office. They found the 1,500 on his Google, and then the 3,000, Jen, was on the hard drive that Dad turned in. I think it was 3,000. Okay. Stern's attorneys have filed 3 motions seeking to suppress evidence seized in the case, accusing police of not following the proper procedures when they took his cell phone into custody. His attorney, Alicia Smith, said she did not want to schedule a date for those motions to be heard until she filed a 4th motion seeking to close the courtroom. Okay, so let's continue. The murder trial is supposed to start September 22nd. The CSAM May 5th. Let's just watch this video. Why not? I haven't watched it yet. Well, let's look at the article really quick, then we'll just watch it. So, the battle over evidence in the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. On February 27th, Detective Maria Tagler with Orange County Sheriff's Office asked Stearns if she could take a photograph of his cell phone history and check the phone's settings. This was the day after Soto's mother reported the teen as missing. Stearns, who previously dated Soto's mother, reportedly handed over his phone to the detective. "I'm going to hold on to your phone, okay?" she said. "I'll give it back to you when we're done." "Okay," he can be heard saying in the audio. The detective asked Stearns about his phone again the next day. "I told you I was going to hold on to it and that we would like to download your phone. Is this something that I have your consent to do? Or do I need to get a search warrant for your phone?" He said, "It should be fine." The officer responded with, "You're okay with us going through your phone?" He said yes, and then told them his 5-digit PIN. Wow, it seems like he was pretty clear that he didn't mind. Excuse me, you guys. His attorney claims he was under the influence of a prescription anxiety drug at the time and had not eaten all day. Remember, that weekend before everything set off, he had been asking his parents if they had anti-anxiety medication. Now, the officer double-checked with him, it's okay, and he says yes, but the attorney says because he's on this prescription anti-anxiety meds and he hadn't eaten, that it shouldn't be admissible. So, this is the defense's attempt to try to eliminate or suppress evidence in the trial and that the state can try to prove, says an attorney with Haas Law. He's not an attorney in this particular case. But he went on to say the defense and the state attorneys are working. It is designated to bury what evidence they would be admissible and what evidence wouldn't be in the trial they think would be admissible. Stearns' attorney believes detectives violated his constitutional rights against unreasonable searches. You have to be shitting me, right? Because he's on drugs that he's not even prescribed. They violated his rights for unreasonable searches. The person who, it was factory reset all of a sudden. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Brenda. Hey, you guys coming in. I take anti-anxiety meds every day and don't eat. That's no excuse. Agree, Kelly. Hey, Love in the Laundry. B Crumbs, thank you for being a member for 21 months. Oh, thank you for gifting. Thank you. And welcome to the new members. And Clicker, thank you for gifting as well. Thank you, guys. I cannot get over this. Like you really tried it, and I get it. Listen, it's defense attorney's job. You have to represent your client. They always ask for certain evidence to not be admissible. But come on, claiming his constitutional rights were violated, that's bullshit. Stearns has pled not guilty to all charges. Last week, his public defender also filed motions to drop the death penalty. We talked about this, and you guys, if you are a member on my Patreon, even a free member, so you can join as a free member, all the documents are on the free tier. Many of these documents we're talking about, some of the motions. The attorney has entered motions to drop the death penalty being one. We have all of that over there. So please go check it out. And as a matter of fact, I'll pull up the case file and get the motion where the one we're about to talk about after the live and post it so you guys can see that too. Okay. Stephan Stearns asked the judge to ban the public and the press from the court hearing. What's wrong, Stephan? Huh? You don't want people to be able to see and know about what you've done? Is that it? Are you ashamed? Are you embarrassed? Well, you should be. In my opinion, he should have to stand out on the side of the street in a very vulnerable way, maybe naked or something. Not that I want to see him naked, but just because, hell, after probably the way that Maddie felt for many years, I think that he should have to feel vulnerable while people drive by and beep and talk about how the size of his thing and all the other things, just mock him and make fun of him, throw shit at him. How dare you? We're going to see all your dirty business. Yep. No, not naked. Not for us, but for him to feel vulnerable. Oh, thank you, Dead-Eye Danny. Hey, Lisa, in a turtle suit. So, let's see. Stephan is asking a judge to ban the public and members of the press from attending his pretrial court hearings. The motion, obtained through court documentation, states that the spread of information presented in the hearings would prevent Stearns from receiving a fair trial. Why is the motion being requested? I don't believe that. I mean, okay, I shouldn't laugh because, of course, it's very important he does receive a fair trial, but I think that's in the interest of the state as well. Everybody wants that. Why is the motion being requested? What they're saying. According to official court documents, the motion was filed by a public defender representing Stearns on Wednesday of this week. The motion requests all pretrial proceedings be closed in the sexual battery case. And here's what they had to say. This case has been the subject of unprecedented and highly prejudicial publicity and media attention in Osceola County, adjacent areas of Osceola County, a majority of the state of Florida, outside the state of Florida, and even internationally. Pause here. Yeah, it has been the subject of a lot of publicity because people are so disgusted and shocked with what he did. And not only that, with the other people who happen to be in the picture, people aren't very happy. This is something that people are up in arms about, rightfully so. They should be. We have to stand up for, the children. I'm sorry. That's just that. So yeah, it is. It has gotten a lot of media attention and a lot of publicity. But, when you do something so horrific, sometimes that fucking happens. And if you don't like it, well, maybe don't do it. Sorry. This is not a legal perspective at all. This is the emotional rant of a random woman who's not at all professional in the legal arena. Okay. But not that that wasn't clear, but just in case you guys didn't know, just so you know. Hey, MK. Yes, no, he did. She had a bone, her hyoid bone was broken. Hey, Katie Harrison. We are talking tonight about Stephan Stearns, some new motions filed in his case. I'm glad it's getting a lot of attention, Spicy Amy in the house. I can't help it. Shock and outrage is the only way to react. Exactly, Teacup. How can you not? Yeah, we are doing it. We have talked about a bunch of different things. And actually, at the end, we might talk about a couple extra things, too. You can be exposed on camera just like Maddie was. Damn, Lisa. Ain't that the truth? Okay. They go on to say, at every court proceeding, however minor or inconsequential, there has been extensive coverage by the press as well as social media users on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, now called X, and Facebook. It is anticipated that the press will continue to be active and aggressive in the coverage of all events and proceedings in this case. Damn it to hell, no, not aggressive. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Just because people care, and again, I get they're doing their job, okay? But no, this is what happens. Do you think that, hello, they were able to have a fair trial for O.J. Simpson? And we see celebrities all the time. ASAP Rocky. Look at the Diddy case. I'm confident they'll be able to see the trial of people who can remain fair and impartial. And we've even seen, even if you've seen coverage of the case, that's okay. It's as long as you can only judge based on what evidence is presented at trial. Thank you, Pass. Keep up the great work. Real one, family, respect. Oh, thank you. And good to see you. I'm in Florida. Sunshine Law is Bible. No way he's getting a private hearing. Okay. A similar motion was also filed in his homicide case earlier this month. Him and his attorneys have filed dozens of motions as both the state and defense prepare for the murder trial, including requests to remove the death penalty as an option, allow him to be unshackled during hearings and trial, and permit him to use a real pen during the trial. Look, give him a real pen, okay? Not too much to ask for. I don't even mind if they're unshackled. We've seen that in so many cases where they're allowed to wear street clothes. So the jury doesn't have any ideas coming into it that are unfair in any way. Removing the death penalty as an option, I don't know how I feel about it. Hey, let's do a poll, actually. Let me ask you guys if he should face the death penalty. Because look, I can understand the argument of how the death penalty shouldn't even be a thing at all anymore. But for me personally, when the crime is this disgusting, this egregious, like I don't mind it so much. Just like Wade Wilson, sorry. And the Wade wives are already mad at me, but I don't really care. Like, I hope he's put to death as soon as possible. Get over it. Truly, get over it. Okay. 1 second. I don't know why I'm sharing my screen to do a poll, but just a second. Okay, that's what we're doing. Just want to see how you guys feel about this. Should Stephan Stearns face the penalty? I think that most people, like in a case like this, even if you're usually against it, you might be okay with it. But I don't know. That's just my guess. Let's see. What do you guys think? Oh, Seek Justice, thank you for rejoining. I think you're rejoining. Thank you. Hand him over to Wade. I'm with you, Allie. I hope I'm still around when Wade does finally go. I want a front row seat outside the prison. I already bought my lawn chair. Well, I feel that way about him because he's still hurting people. He's hurting people. He's assaulting people in jail, sexually assaulting people in jail, and like making all this money, living very comfortably because of all these women who and men, but predominantly women that want to support him. And like, if you missed at the beginning, I mentioned being tagged in something just today or yesterday. Well, it would have to be today because it's been since the live a few hours ago. About his pictures and how he's the most beautiful person on the planet. And all these women and men who are supporters of him sending him money. And I think they're being taken advantage of, even if they're stupid. Okay. They're still being taken advantage of. And people are being hurt physically, emotionally. I just think it's time. It couldn't come soon enough for him. Okay. 98%. Oh my God. I did not expect that. 98%. Wow. We'll keep it going for a minute. Okay. The motion states Stearns plans to pursue even more motions, including those to suppress and exclude evidence, which we just read about, the one wanting his phone out. Apparently, his constitutional rights were violated because he was high. And police asked him multiple times, but that doesn't matter. And he did say, yeah, but that doesn't matter. He was high and he hadn't ate. So they violated his rights. They go on to say, his attorneys, public dissemination of these items of evidence will prevent Mr. Stearns from receiving a fair trial. Public discussion in the press in the form of news stories, polls, letters to editors and editorials will lead to an environment which will preclude Mr. Stearns from being afforded a fair trial in Osceola County and most of the state of Florida. Bullshit. There are so many people who don't watch the news, don't watch TV, are not on YouTube. Like, actually think about it. Think about your family members and not little kids that watch, of course, like a lot of children watch YouTube shows or songs or lullabies or whatever on YouTube, but the adults in your life, how many of them are regular YouTube viewers? Because for me, none of them are. Now, one of the adults in my life is like a more regular TikTok viewer, but none of them are like watch YouTube, and certainly not true crime. Like, actually, my dad will sometimes, he was just telling me he watches sometimes these certain news channels on YouTube occasionally, but most people are not watching true crime. Just me. Just me. If I were to ask my husband if he knew who Stephan was right now, he'd have no idea. See? Same here. So it's not going to be that hard. In our little world, hey, Justin, it feels like this is everybody knows about it, and people already have their opinions, because they do here. But that's very, very small minority when it comes to like the general public. Nene says, I think he has essayed other children. I don't think Maddie was the only one. Well, we know that he was spying on other people, adults, right? The phone under the door. They found pictures of his phone under a bathroom door with one of the roommates in there changing. So we know that he's definitely he's a predator, like all the time, not just with Maddie. I don't know if he has other victims like that, but think about it. He had how many? I have to double check this. How many photos were found? Hold on. Let me just try to get an accurate number. Oh, what I said 3,000 earlier? 35,000. 35,000 pictures of child pornography. See, this is why I get pissed, and this is why I start to go off. 35,000. So he certainly has other victims. Look. Police said they found more than 35,000 images of child pornography on one of the discs, but none featured Madeline, from Court TV, October 2024. I don't know why I was thinking 3,000. It's not like we haven't talked about this in depth. 35,000. God, he's so disgusting. Hey, Grandma Sherry. Each one of those is a crime. Cowardly monster. Ain't that the truth? He's such a coward. You're real big and bad when you're telling Maddie that if she doesn't do what you say, she's not going to be allowed to watch her cartoons on the phone anymore. Yeah, because that is one of the things he did in one of the videos of him making her satisfy his sick fucking needs and desires. Like, one of the things was threatening her. So you're real big and bad then, but too cowardly to show up to court. How dumb could you be to plead not guilty to 35,000 counts? Well, okay, so Brandy, the 35,000, they didn't even bring charges against him for. They have the 1,500 pictures with Maddie. That's what we're going to trial for on May 5th. September 22nd, I think it was, we go for the murder of Maddie. The 35,000, they did not bring charges. Which is crazy. I don't even have 35,000. I know, dandelion, of my kids over the last 12 years. When this first happened, I remember we were thinking, like, how many are you looking at every day? I think they said that, this phone or computer hadn't been messed with, hard drive, so it was a computer, hadn't been messed with since like 2020 or something. So it was before, but like 35,000, that's a hell of a lot of pictures. I don't know. That's a great question. I wonder why too, Brandy. What do you guys think? Do you have an opinion on why they haven't charged him for that? Hey, Aries. All right, so let's keep looking. Who is Stephan Stearns? They go into the backstory here. He was the live-in boyfriend of Maddie's mother. We'll just scroll, kind of look at it. Let's see. Let me see what's under the backstory. What's next? He's being charged with multiple counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, sexual battery with a child between 12 and 18 with familial or custodial authority, lewd or lascivious. I can never say that word. Lewd or L-word molestation and unlawful possession of material depicting sexual performance by a child 10 or more images. A judge at a pretrial hearing last week ruled to postpone the sexual battery case until April 23rd. He is now expected to stand trial sometime between May 5th and May 21st. A tentative trial date for the murder charge has been set up for September 22nd. Who was Maddie? Maddie was a student at Hunters Creek Middle School. I can't believe tomorrow's her birthday. I did not even realize that until I went and looked at the dates for regarding the upcoming trial or something, and it just made me think. She was found in the area where he was last seen changing a flat tire. And that's it on that one. So let's see. I was going to play that other video, and I think there was one with this, but I lost the other, hold on, the other article. Here it is.
Don't wear these perfumes if you don't like compliments. Everyone has been talking about all of these perfumes, but honestly, they're just way out of my budget.
West 2 News continues.
The man accused of murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto is getting ready for his trial.
Stephan Stearns' attorneys are asking a judge to throw out evidence that investigators found on his cell phone and an online account. West 2's Spencer Tracy explains why Stearns believes he had no choice but to hand over his phone. Stearns claims.
Hold on, I hadn't watched this. Oh my God, it's just, I thought, why would he even fight these? Like, what could he even possibly say? There's nothing you can say with all of the evidence against you besides maybe an insanity plea. But constitutional rights were violated and you had no other choice but to give over your phone. Okay, so Katie says, is mom being charged with anything on this case? I think she was just as big of a piece of crap, nonchalantly saying they'd sleep together. Why would you let a grown man sleep in the same bed as your kid? Katie, we have talked about this so in depth, and really, you know, a lot of people don't find out when their children are being abused unless the child tells them or something else, but it goes unreported often. But you just can't get past some of the stuff that we know that she did, like allowing them to sleep together, telling the cops they would cuddle with him in his boxers and in the bed and stuff. The drawings that Maddie was drawing were so graphic and showed exactly what was happening. She was making terrible grades. She wasn't going to school. She was depressed. She was crying a lot. The only way you wouldn't know is if you were drugged up, only thinking about yourself and being really super selfish, which, hey, could be the case here. That kind of lines up, you know, so I don't know. I don't know if she'll ever be charged. We know they said that they had no plans on charging anyone else at this time a few months ago. I can understand the frustration around her behavior and what she allowed, because I am right there with you. And I find it's kind of a hard I don't know. It's just kind of hard to give any grace and try to be understanding at all. I don't believe that. I don't think she knew at least everything, because they said they found no evidence of, like, we hear in an interview with Stephan's dad and the police over the summer last year. And this interview has been released, but it's also talked about throughout their police reports, which are, those reports are on my Patreon on the free tier. They're like 70 pages long and maybe 50. But we hear police tell Stephan's dad, we have tried to find evidence that she knew. We have tried to find evidence, like, let's say, and this is my words, like her in some of the images, text messages about, they couldn't find it. So I don't really know, you know, I don't know if she'll ever be charged. I don't know how much she knew. I don't know what she deserves. I just know that it's really hard to not have some sort of negative feelings towards her after everything. Oh, best believe Grady Judd would nail her ass. Oh, I love Grady. The Woody Allen comment. Yeah, it was her worst fear that this would become like, she was really worried this was going to become a Woody Allen situation. I didn't even know what that meant. I guess can one of you guys explain like the Woody Allen reference for me? I know that it's like he got with his girlfriend's child or something, but I don't really know. Thank you, Tess. The fact that she thought it was appropriate to let her boyfriend sleep in the same bed as her daughter. I mean, she's certainly going to have to testify. We'll hear more from her soon, you guys. It's not that far from May 5th. Think about it. We are approaching the end of February. We've got a week left. So in a week and a half, we'll be 2 months out of the way. We're 2.5 months out from this first trial. We will know more. And that's where we're going to get all the evidence, all of the facts, and probably many things we had assumed. Well, I can't say that because we've had access to all the documents. You know, we have a lot more information than we do in other cases, but we're still going to get more stuff we didn't know about. Yes, Harley Quinn. Aw, the Live Great. I didn't see it, Chelsea. I'll have to find it. Why are you even thinking something like that unless you notice something odd? He married their adopted daughter. Thank you, Amber. No personal accountability on the mother's side. She's enabling in this situation, no doubt in my mind. She's got screws loose. Which part, Brandy? I do have negative feelings for her, and I am not really trying to talk myself out of it. Well, I do sometimes. I've wrestled with myself. There are times when I've just went, fuck it, no. Screw her and anybody who has a problem with it, right? But there are other times where I've thought, she's obviously mentally ill. They cannot find evidence that she knew how severe the situation was at all. And I just could imagine with the mental illness, and I don't know, I just think if she didn't know and all of this hit her at once, like maybe she just doesn't speak well. There are times when I have kind of felt bad about my feelings and tried to not talk myself out of it. Well, yeah. And take a wait and see approach, try to be more fair. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard with this one to do that. The Woody Allen comment was definitely a slip. She literally said she told him he can't do that. It's not mathing, her acting so befuddled. Well, it's just like, what was his name? Kevin, the detective that talked to her. I mean, he was pissed, and he said everything I think so many of us have felt. Why does it seem, why do you... Here's another thing that this is like one of the things that really pushes me over the edge with her. You are shown a picture of your boyfriend sexually assaulting your child. And the very first, and I mean the first thing you do when you leave is you tell his dad he needs to get him a good lawyer. And then you tell his dad, because of all the medications I take and everything, we really don't have sex all that much. And you start explaining this away and making excuses. It's really hard to look past some of that and get to that spot where she's a victim in all of this. Because ultimately, I suppose legally she is. You know what I mean? If she's not charged and they don't believe she knew about it, and that, when it comes time for his trial, she'll be able to do a victim impact statement. She is Maddie's mom. And we do think of the parents of these missing kids or murdered kids as victims, or the families of missing and murdered adults as victims too. Someone said something to a counselor at school. Anyone remember who? If someone said it to the counselors, did they go to Jen first? So I don't remember that. I remember the counselors talking about, her depression and how they encouraged her to speak with Jen about her feelings. And that's when she did the drawing, and she had like the crying face. And that's at the same time we were seeing those very graphic drawings she did too. But it seemed like the counselors kind of all walked away thinking it wasn't that serious until the situation, she was murdered. Mia Farrow's adopted daughter is now Woody Allen's wife. He left his wife for their adopted daughter. He was sexually assaulting her when she was young. Currently married to. Thank you, guys. I didn't know. I knew it was something like that, but Woody Allen, meaning she was scared they were so close they'd end up in a relationship together like Woody and his adopted daughter. And they were very close. Let's not forget this, too. Maddie's friends talked about how she sat on the phone with him all the time. And when her friends wanted to talk, she would say, well, I'm talking to Stephan. Do you want to join on three-way? The police, we hear in one of the interrogations, there's just so much information that's out there on this, and we've went so deep. But the police, when they are first in talking to him, that female cop, remember, she's like, is it normal for you guys to text so much and so late? Isn't it a school night? Woody raised his wife. Wow, that is sick, man. What a sick way to... Ugh. Because she knew it wasn't right. Look how far we've gotten in this little video. At least get her for child neglect, Tilson says. She failed her daughter. I know a lot of you guys have those feelings. And I kind of, you're all welcome to your opinions here, no matter what they are. Maddie would be turning 14 tomorrow. I will be 35 tomorrow, and I will celebrate for you, beautiful. Oh, psychedelic relic. Well, happy 35th birthday. I love your picture and your name. And I'm 35 too. I feel like I'm still 19. Like when serious shit goes down, I'm definitely like, where's the adult? Like looking around for help, but I am 35. It's weird they don't have evidence. That does give me pause. I totally get it. Yeah, it does. But then comes all the anger comes right back when I start to think about some of the other details. To be fair, they haven't said anything yet. Maybe they will, right? Well, they did. So Tess, they did. But they said, we have no plans on charging anyone else right now. And Nene, I truly do believe there's more to the period thing, and that could be part of the motive for this. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I think that when police are so focused on her missing a period in so many interviews and stuff, even the interview that happened a couple months later with her attorney, there was a heavy focus on that. And by that point, you would think they'd have a lot of the stuff back with her autopsy, if not everything back. What mother wants to see proof? Kelly said. And then allegedly Annie says Jen is only concerned for herself, down to the gastric bypass medicines, and such a horrible mother. Oh, I 100% agree. Very, very selfish. I don't know. It's like, I think part of it is like addiction and mental illness. Because you can become so dependent on your medications that that's all you care about and think about. And I don't know. I think I see some of that, but I couldn't look. Kelly, I think I would want to see, even as hard as it would be, because I don't know if I could believe it otherwise. Oh, Jen, she didn't just text him. He was the one who drove her to that interview. And she gets in the car with him and tells him, I think she might have called or texted him like at the police station, but he is the one who picks her up from that interview for sure. And she goes into explaining how they had no sex life and everything else, and how he needs a good attorney. And even his dad was absolutely stunned and shocked by her behavior. He said it was the most talkative she had ever been. Ignorance is no excuse. Crafty Chris says she needs charges. Maddie will not have justice without it. Her mental illness, anxiety, and I think she exaggerated that because she was lazy and wanted to collect disability. Either way, anxiety doesn't make you blind and ignorant. I could see her exaggerating some, but to quote the detective, I don't care if it was my own mother. I didn't even finish my thought. Even if she is exaggerating, I do think it's possible that there's some addiction stuff happening there. And that's because there's such a focus on the medication. And, when you're troubled and some kind of medication makes you feel good, I get how people could almost fall in love with it for not having a better way to say that. Okay, I'm skipping to the bottom of your comments, you guys. Because I want to get back to the video. So if I missed anything important, let me know and I'll scroll back. But okay. Here.
Claims he had no choice but to hand over his phone. His attorney also says he was under the influence of a prescription anxiety drug that day as well.
I am going to hold on to your phone, okay? I'll give it back to you when we're done. Okay?
Where's that lady cop?
Do you have any questions for us?
I just noticed.
How long are you gonna need my phone?
On February 27th,
I just noticed my mic was on, and I really hope it was off because I thought I turned it off because I just coughed. If not, I coughed right in y'all's ear, and I apologize. Let's hear this part again. That this is the lady cop that I was talking about, who asked about, why do you have all these late night text messages? But here is the exchange over his phone.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
How long are you gonna need my phone?
On February 27th,
Count. West 2's Spencer Tracy explains why Stearns believes he had no choice but to hand over his phone.
Stearns claims he had no choice but to hand over his phone. His attorney also says he was under the influence of a prescription anxiety drug that day as well.
I am going to hold on to your phone, okay? I'll give it back to you when we're done. Okay? Do you have any questions for us?
How long are you gonna need my phone?
On February 27th, 2024, the day after Madeline Soto's mom reported the teen missing, this is the recording of a detective asking Stearns if she could take a photograph of his cell phone history and check the phone settings.
Your phone. I told you that I was
Look, we've seen a lot of the photos.
Of his cell phone.
Here's one of his infamous under the door photos. Look at this. What a perverted freak.
Phone history and check the phone settings.
Your phone. I told you that I was going to hold on to it and that we would like to download your phone, right?
Okay.
Is this something that I have your consent to do, or do I need to get a search warrant for your phone?
It should be fine.
Investigate.
Oh, should be fine. Okay. Seems like, she was pretty clear when she asked. So Clicker says, I talk about meds and sleep or lack thereof all the time due to autoimmune, but I am still a dang good mom of a successful kid. Jen is just worthless. Well, Clicker, I think there's nothing wrong with talking about it all the time, especially if you're truly sick and you're still taking care of your business. But she wasn't, and she was kind of just sleeping all the time and then very focused on these medications. That's what makes me think there was like a mental illness or addiction aspect with her. But, if somebody's sick, it's normal to talk about that stuff all the time because it is part of your life. So there is nothing wrong with that. Just want to make it clear. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And anybody who has autoimmune issues or anything like that, I do know how just from having friends and loved ones, how devastating it can be when you're having a flare up or something like that. So I understand. Okay.
Investigators say they found hundreds of pictures and videos on his phone that showed him molesting her for years. In a new court filing, Stearns' attorney has filed a motion to suppress that evidence. His attorney argues that it was unlawfully taken and that investigators did not get a warrant to search his phone.
What this is the defense's attempt to try to eliminate or suppress evidence in the
Wait, let me hear that just one more time.
defense's attempt to try to eliminate or suppress evidence in the trial or trials that the state can try to prove.
As the case prepares to head to trial, the state has not yet responded to this motion in court.
The lawyers are working, the defense is working, the state's working, and it's designed to sort of vary what evidence would be admissible and what evidence would not be admissible in the trial.
Stearns' pretrial is scheduled for tomorrow. Of course, we'll be there and bringing the latest on air.
I actually hadn't pulled the motions myself anyways, but I was going to pull them for Patreon. So let's see if we can take a look at what's going on here. And then I'm going to let you guys go. But, okay, this is the first degree murder. So let's go back. We'll look at that second. But I want to start with the trial we're approaching. Okay. Motion for closure of all pretrial proceeding grounds in support of motion. Yeah, so I'll upload these to Patreon after. Let's take a look. Let's see. Motion for closure of all pretrial proceedings. We heard some of this. The case has been subject of unprecedented and highly prejudicial publicity. every court proceeding, there has been extensive coverage. It is anticipated for this to continue, right? For it to be aggressive, active coverage. Counsel for Stearns intends to pursue numerous pretrial motions of evidentiary and legal significance. The types of motions expects to pursue include, but are not limited to, motions to suppress, motions to exclude, motions in limine of irrelevant and prejudicial testimony and evidence, and many other motions, which could include a motion for a change of venue. Counsel for Mr. Stearns has already filed 3 motions to suppress, which various media users have read, dissected, and commented on extensively. These motions will require testimony and discussion of the evidence in this case prior to trial. In some instances, this could involve evidence which may later be found to be inadmissible. So I'm going to have to reference evidence in my motion, which might make it inadmissible in the future. Is that what they're saying? Public dissemination of these items of evidence will prevent Mr. Stearns from receiving a fair trial. Counsel feels there is no suitable alternative measure to protect his right to a fair trial other than closure of all pretrial hearings. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Let's see. Order on defendant's motion to continue. Jury trial set for May 5th. Pre-trial set, the last pre-trial hearing for April 23rd. So 2 months and 2 days from now. Look at this. Motion to suppress evidence of a Google search warrant. Motion to suppress unlawful seizure of cell phone. Unlawful seizure. Oh my God, you're grasping, dude. You're grasping. Let's take a look at this. This is 26 pages. This case presents 2 distinct and egregious violations of Mr. Stearns' Fourth Amendment rights by law enforcement, each flowing from building upon the other. First, Detective Tagler systematically exceeded the carefully circumscribed scope of Mr. Stearns' limited consent to merely check if you're logged onto Google. But she said we're going to keep it and ask if they could download it and do. We just heard. Oh my God. Evidence to be suppressed. All data obtained during the initial search. All evidence obtained through Cellbrite, forensic extraction of the phone. Derivative evidence. Let's see. Ooh, look how they wrote this up, like some of their facts. On February 27th, the detective identified inconsistencies in statements provided by Miss Soto and Mr. Stearns. The officer asked, "Is it okay if I go into your settings real quick?" And he responds, "Yeah." Statement of facts. Let's see here. I think what actually I'm going to do, instead of just leaving you guys looking I'm going to upload these as soon as we end so you can take a look and read through them yourself. Just have to join the Patreon, but on the free tier. So it's pretty simple. Notice of taking depositions. The last one I want to look at on this case before we look to the other one is that their most recent order. It is ordered that the accused motion to continue be, and the same is hereby granted, and the procedures stated in the original order readopted and made a part hereof. And then they rescheduled the trial. Okay. All right, so let's go back to here and go back to his original. And you guys can look at this yourself. You just have to go to the courts.osceolaclerk.com and then put in his name. But if you just want to read the documents, like I said, I'll upload those. But you can go to the website. Anybody can. Notice of provision of state's amended witness list. There's a lot of new motions I haven't looked at, actually. The last we were on here. Wait, remember we talked about he was trying to limit the impact statements, but allow his family to have statements on how this has impacted them? Here's one of the motions on the impact statements. I actually don't think we've looked at this. The only purpose in a capital sentencing proceeding is to acknowledge and make the victim's unique individuality and the loss to the community due to his or her death. The statute, in its own equivocal terms, make victim impact information irrelevant to the findings balancing. So I just cannot believe they want to limit victim impact statements, but allow how it has impacted his family. So let's not allow how the actual fucking crime has impacted the people who cared about Maddie, but let's let my parents come talk about how hard this has been for them and for me. What? That is literally what they're asking, you guys. And you can go look, pull it up, because we've looked at, they had already started to put in motions for that. And it looks like there are some new ones here. I just cannot believe that. Motion for disclosure of favorable evidence, of course. Notice of provision of the state's amended witness list. Let's take a look at that. Because I think most of them are redacted and we don't get to see it anyways. Yeah. Y'all. Okay. So I'm going to wrap that up there. Again, if you want to go look at the dockets, it is courts.osceolaclerk.com. And those few that I have pulled up and saved here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, will be uploaded on the Patreon. I'll just make one post with all the 4 documents. Wow. 20 more minutes. Well, I'm definitely going to sit here and talk to y'all for a minute, but I just wanted to wrap up the case coverage because anything else, I would, there's some reading I want to do on the court's website, but I'm not going to just have you guys sit here to read through that or, so I'll do that later. So many people did fail her, Lisa. That's true. Something tells me his dad wouldn't be very kind. Kane's Nana says he isn't much different than Wade. Had absolutely nothing on the outside. No job, no house. He did have a car that was broke down. No money. Jail will be a relief for him. Ain't that, I hadn't thought about that. But for Wade, hell, he's living like a king now compared to how he's ever lived before. Oh, okay, Sarah. When did you email me? Because I was checking my email earlier. Oh, I see. Okay. Just now. I got it. I will read it after this. I try not to miss any of your guys' emails. I don't like that. Sometimes I may not get back to you super quick, but I'll definitely read it. I'll actually read that tonight. I see it at the very top. Oops. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going. Oh, with the Wade. I cannot believe. Let me see. I'll pull up my TikTok before we go and just show you guys one of the posts that I was tagged in last night. The video was actually like a video they put out when Melissa first started dropping the pictures, but they tagged me in it today. And was like, this is to you and you, Tess, and Melissa too. They didn't have her on TikTok. Here it is. It's a song, like a song about haters. And here. My reaction to Wade's, here, I'll just play it. I wasn't going to play the music because it will like flag the ad revenue, but you are a hater. Yeah, stay the hell away from me. Give me my friend. Act like my friend. My reaction to Wade's old photos from 2022, knowing that Wade is the most beautiful man in the world and has a perfect face. You are a hater. Yeah, stay the hell away from everybody. You are a hater. Yeah, stay the hell away from me. And then they tagged me. This is my message to you and Melissa. I don't know if he has TikTok, Melissa, and tagged Tess 5 hours ago. I just liked it back. Excuse me? First of all, if that makes you feel better about those ugly ass pictures, then whatever. They need to get a life. Anything else, like, well, on Sunday, I want to do like another episode of like the last week or two in true crime, what we've just talk about all the different cases, any kind of updates, new documentary, like there's a new one coming out. I shared on the community tab today about Charles Manson. We'll talk about any other updates then, but yeah, my God, people have too much time on their hands. Go get a job. Or if you're Jesse Harmonican, then do it at work and get fired. Listen, this is not, I don't think they're an English speaking person based on their comment. Maybe I'm wrong. Some people are so funny trying to say that Wade looks like he does in 2022. Guys, we saw the trial. His face is perfect. He's all perfect. Every inch of his body. And even in 2022, he didn't look as bad as in these photos shared by a single middle-aged lady from YouTube. What? I did not even read that earlier, who is obsessed with Wade. And there are photos from the late Breezy where he has screenshots of the video conversation on his profile, and Wade is beautiful there. And these are similar dates. Excuse me, middle-aged lady. I didn't see that earlier. Well, whatever. I mean, first of all, nobody's obsessed with Wade. We just, for one, the emails are hilarious because they're so cringy and stupid. Nobody's obsessed. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Wade or somebody else. For all, I can say for me, and I won't speak for anybody else, but I assume I know my friends, and for them too, that the only thing that initially draws them to a case is the crime, the victims, what happened, wanting to know what happened. It doesn't have shit to do with being obsessed with his stupid ass. It just happens he's the one who committed this crime. But really, I just cannot. Whatever. Anyway. Did anybody hear about the POS in Michigan leaving and abandoning her 3 kids for almost 5 years? Oh my God, I did not, lucid dreams. Before I exit out of my TikTok, let me see if I can get footage of Luigi's hearing today. I want to show you guys before we go. Sorry for all the attitude. I was definitely on one during this whole live. Very turned up, okay? Jeez. Sorry, it just, these people really piss me off. His lawyer said he's being treated differently 3 hours ago. Oh, okay, let's watch this for a second. This looks like some new stuff from his hearing today.
He's constantly surrounded by law enforcement. He's in shackles. He was wearing a vest today. Some looked like I don't even know what it looked like, but a
to protect him, dumbass. Oh my God. A bulletproof vest.
With his legs shackled and his arms shackled. And so he's being treated differently because he's being held in federal custody than any
I
other
cannot
person
believe they're
who would be
complaining.
facing serious murder one charges in New York State court. And I made a record in court today that I don't understand what this show of danger is for. He is being treated differently because of this unusual and frankly just the fact
Well,
that
I'll
he's
have to
being
go look for
prosecuted
it.
by 3 jurisdictions for one event. It all is about one thing. He's constantly surrounded by law enforcement.
Okay, let's see what else. Looks like there was a few new. Okay, yeah. 4 hours ago, Mangione appeared in New York State Court. No, federal court, right? Isn't it federal court? I'm pretty sure. For a preliminary hearing on charges in Brian Thompson's killing. What do you think for the support for you outside? Let's see if we can get a video of that. I
What I did
saw
not
the
understand-
inside of the courtroom, and it was, or the
This is
courthouse,
everything you need.
and it was crazy. How there were so many people there.
Just hours from now, Luigi Mangione expected back in court for the first.
The federal government is still considering whether to.
For the first time, accused killer Luigi Mangione.
So right now in New York City, accused killer Luigi Mangione is in court for his state murder case, facing charges of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Cameras capturing the moment the 26-year-old arrived at the courthouse in downtown Manhattan, marking the first time we're seeing Mangione.
Crumbs, I just realized you were taking a dig at my memory with that comment, which is fair and probably true, but I realized it.
After that dramatic arraignment in December where he was.
Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, was in court today. The hearing lasted just 20 minutes, but his supporters, some of them got here as early as 5 a.m. to try to.
Some of them got there at 5 a.m. Oh, look at them.
Some of these supporters were lining the
Put the system on trial. Look at inside the courthouse.
We saw dozens of them. Some of these supporters were lining the 15th floor hallways trying to get inside. We saw dozens of them, mostly young women. We talked to a few who said that they had lined up because they wanted to try to see Mangione. One woman saying that she didn't condone the violence, but she said she thought that he raised interesting questions about inequality in the healthcare system, and that brought her out.
Luigi Mangione court appearance truly.
Look at those soft brown eyes, Mo says. He couldn't hurt a fly. The top comment with 600 likes, you guys. Lord help me. I cannot. I can't look at any more of that. I'm trying to take down the sass a notch, like take it down a notch, but this is not helping. Oh my God. $600 likes and clear video of him doing the crime. Crazy, Amber. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me to go over all of this stuff and just to hang out for a little bit on Friday night. And I hope you guys get to have a relaxing night and do whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Were those the Luigi wives? They were, Jen. Actually, did you hear the reporter? Because that last one was really quiet for some reason, but they said that, you know, with all the supporters outside, some of them came at 5 a.m., most of them being young women. I didn't see that, Nene. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to look into that case with the who left her children for 5 years or child. Thank you for you guys even mentioning that. And also B Crumbs, yes, if you send it to me, if you remember, or you know which exact one they're talking about, which I think you do. But, and yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. Again, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for being here. I'll see you sometime over the weekend, but I'm not sure when. I got all kinds of things to do this weekend. Yeah, but I just hope you guys have a good weekend, and hope you're here for my next rant or the next discussion. Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night. I will sit here and go on and on. I'm not going to do that to you this time. So, bye.